If you're anything like me, juggling a bunch of different areas from your home life, your work life, and everything in between that most of us have, being overwhelmed is a pretty common feeling. Some days it feels like my brain has 1,000 tabs open and it's jumping between each one, or for whatever reason, I feel like it's really important that I give all my attention to making sure that the batteries in the TV remote get changed so that I'm not in that awkward thing 3 days from now where the TV won't turn on. When there's that much noise going on, it's really hard for us to stay focused on what's most important, especially when we are musicians and artists who, between needing to survive and do things that are important for us, we also want to be adding this important art into the world. And so making sure that we have our energy and can stay focused on these projects is crucially important. So today I want to share my simple framework that I use whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or just need a really good start to my week to make sure that I am focused on the things that do matter to me and making steps towards the actions that are going to help me make the progress that I want to see. I call this the Triple D method. Now wait, I know what you're thinking. It probably sounds like some other things that have Triple D in their name. And guess what? It's not anything like that. Just kidding, it's the same. The inspiration from this method came from a lot of different self-help books, a lot of different methods. So if you see some similarities, great. That means that we're just stealing from really smart people. And this is just what helps my brain kind of organize that. And so I hope this helps you too. Step number 1 is to dump. And this is as simple as it sounds, and it's just to get everything out of your system. If you've got tons of thoughts flying around, tons of tasks flying around, we just need to dump them into one place. And this can look different for everyone. And I even find myself doing it in different methods based on where I'm at. This can look like journaling, this can look like a bullet list, this can look like free-form writing where you're just kind of putting it all out there. And especially if I'm feeling overwhelmed, it feels good to just allow my brain the time to just go through all of those things and get it out. Physically, I will write things out if I think I need to slow down. And if I want to give myself the opportunity to kind of sprint off the energy mentally, then I'll type it out into a Word document, or I use Notion as like my main database. And so I'll type things into that and kind of get all the points down, and it lets me manipulate them and move them around. And so getting it all out is the main goal here. Some things that you might want to dump or include are things like tasks around the house, client conversations that you need to have, follow-ups that you need to make on things, if you need to call your doctor. It could be things that are more like emotional patterns that you're experiencing, or things that you've been noticing about yourself. It can really be anything that you're struggling or dealing with that comes into your life. And so I think this is more of a free yourself from whatever's burdening you and dump it into whatever thing feels best. The main point that we do this dump is that everything feels important until we get it out of our system and we can kind of push it against the things that we are prioritizing in our lives. This is where we will get to step 2, which is called distill. And distill is, again, all these things feel so important until we really sit down and think about them. And so once we've dumped everything out onto the page, we just go back and look over it. We read over it. We look at things and start to judge whether they're worth doing now, something that's important, or something that we can wait for. And like in a hospital, this is where we would do triage on if it's really important, we go straight to the top and we make sure to get it done. And so this not only helps us to be responsible for the things on our minds, but it also allows us the ability to give stress and anxiety a check-in and say, is this worth being stressed and anxious about? Or is it something that I'm just experiencing and feeling about that I can actually calm myself on and say, it's okay to wait on this. Once you started to read this back and kind of make those judgment calls, I will tend to distill these down into different organizational lists. Whatever works for you. This could be rewriting everything into like a task list of important things, or just putting them into more concise bullets or actionable points. You can kind of combine this into step 3, which is going to be decide. And once we've distilled down all the different things that we could be important, could be working on, all this stuff from the dump information that we've kind of grouped together into different areas, we have to decide what we're going to do with that. And that could be as simple as I'm going to do something about this next, or I'm actually just going to shelf that and say it's not important to me right now. I'll write a note to myself to check in maybe next time I do the Triple D method at the beginning of the week. The most important thing with the decide step is to make sure to choose an action step that's really easy to take. And this isn't to say that if it's a big problem, you need to solve it all at once or whatever. You just need to decide what the next thing is that you need to do to make progress in that area. So if it is a conversation with a friend that's really eating at you, it could just be to set up a time to have a phone call with them, or say, hey, can we grab coffee soon? I really want to run some things past you, or whatever that looks like in those relationships. A way I make sure that that next step is a good step for me as I ask myself, is this going to create progress towards the things that I want, or is it just going to keep me busy? I try to keep the move small enough so that it's easy for me to do and execute on either the day that I write it down or maybe within the next couple days. That way I can kind of keep myself becoming overwhelmed about it again because I've made some kind of progress on it. This also can help where if you've been really anxious about something and what is really getting at you is just that you haven't started that yet, just taking that small step might cure your entire anxiety about it because you realize, oh, this is going to take less time than I thought. This is easier than I remember. Or maybe it's just that you're more ready for it than you thought you were. In summary, the Triple D method is dump, put all your ideas out onto the paper, onto wherever it is, distill, group them up into ways that you can kind of make sense of what's going on, maybe categorize them or put them into larger buckets. And then 3 is decide, which is just to take that next action step on whatever those things are that came out. I hope you found this method helpful. If you have any ideas or things that you do to help combat overwhelm, make sure to share them in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, you know, all the things, so that we can be friends and that I can continue to share things from my life that might be helpful for you.